We eat at least a credit card's worth of plastic in a week. We cannot see this plastic, but it is in our blood, our lungs, and our guts. Even in the first few moments of life, our children are nurtured with this plastic. It is in placentas and breast milk. It is in the water we drink, the food we eat, and the very air we breathe. The more we come to understand what this plastic does to our bodies, the more scared I become. We could be at the beginning of the world's largest, most uncontrollable health crisis to date. Every piece of plastic created since 1950 is still on our planet today. We recycled only 9% of all of it, leaving 9 billion tons in the environment. This is an amount 15,000 times heavier than the Great Pyramid.
Once plastic waste is mismanaged and it enters the environment, there's very little we can do to extract it. And it has traveled everywhere, in every part of the world. All the marine environment, and also have found microplastics in the atmosphere in very secluded areas, so they can't travel by air as well. So yes, it's really, really very serious.
The secluded areas he mentioned, they include the bottom of the Mariana Trench and the top of Mount Everest. Here is how the plastic got there. Plastic is made from a long string of fibers woven together, sort of like a tapestry. Yet instead of cotton, the strings are made from oil and natural gas, and the loom is heat. Plastic is only functional because of the chemicals we add. There are over 10,000 of these chemicals. They make it soft or hard, rigid or flexible, just like how adding different types of strings, like yarn or pipe cleater, into a loom would change the final tapestry. Making plastic without chemicals is like making a tapestry with spaghetti. Not much use there. When left in the environment, sunlight breaks the strings that make up plastic. Water and wind unweave it even more. The chemicals woven in are set free as a result. Slowly, the plastic breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces. These pieces are called micro and nanoplastics. Slowly, the plastic breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces. These pieces are called micro and nanoplastics. Microplastics are big enough to see with your own eyes, while nanoplastics are not. Most plastic waste is currently in the ocean. Once small enough, the plastic evaporates with the water from the ocean surface. It will remain in the water cycle until it degrades completely. Slightly larger plastic pieces are eaten by fish, who mistake it for food. In fish, there's a causal link between microplastic consumption and decreased growth and reproduction rates. Microplastics also change the behavior of fish, with higher exposure levels leading fish to take more risks, and consequently die younger. But they're way out in the ocean. There's no way we could be like them, right? Look around. We are more surrounded by plastic than all the fish in the sea. My polyester shirt, the linings of cans and coffee cups, takeout containers, phone circuits, water bottles, headphones, all plastic. The more you look, the more you'll see. And that's the plastic you can see. There are also invisible pieces of plastic swarming around you. The dust on your desk and swirling in the air, part plastic. Table salt, honey, beer, and a slew of other foods, part plastic. It's visible, it's invisible, it's literally everywhere. Take a deep breath and the plastic dust will enter your lungs. Take a sip of water and the plastic in the water cycle will run down your throat. Take a bite of any meal you sprinkled salt on and you will be swallowing plastic. Since the body has no way to filter microplastics, they are absorbed into the bloodstream. When foreign particles enter the blood, the first way your body reacts is by trying to destroy it in a process known as inflammation. White blood cells, part of the immune system, engulf the plastic particle and try and break it down. Think of these white blood cells like little Pac-Man, eating all the little white dots. Eating a microplastic for a white blood cell is like trying to eat a colorful ghost in Pac-Man. When the white blood cell dies, it releases the tiny plastic piece back into the bloodstream. Another little Pac-Man will come along and try to eat the plastic, and the same thing will occur. No cells in the body can break down plastic, which causes long-term chronic inflammation. Every chronic disease like cancer, heart disease, and even diseases like Parkinson's or major depression begins with inflammation. In the case of microplastic, the dose makes the poison. The more microplastics we're exposed to, the more likely we are to experience their negative effects. In the lungs, some textile workers who inhaled plastic dust at work developed respiratory diseases and cancer. In the gut, Some people with inflammatory bowel disease have higher amounts of microplastics than healthy individuals. All of this information may sound scary, but let's take a step back. A solution can start with us. Over half of the total amount of plastic produced every single year is single-use plastic. This is the plastic you use one time and throw away, like plastic forks. It can take 1,000 years for a single plastic fork to degrade completely. 1,000 years from now is 3023. Every plastic fork you throw away today could harm your descendants for 40 generations to come. Bring your own fork, knife, and spoon everywhere you go.